Hello again, friends, and you are our friends. Welcome back to Talking Town, Ipswich Town podcast, part of the HDR network. Thank you all for joining us. I'm just going to do some checks to make sure that we are in fact live and we are in fact public, and we are. So it's really good to be here with you this evening. I am currently on my own, as you will see, because the other two are late. Yes, they are late. So I am here all on my own. So I'll do the quick, cheap plugs and then get them involved. So good evening, Mr. Nick. Nick Muller is here before the two podcasters. I mean, that's what we're dealing with. So yes, they're both late. But obviously, if you are watching this back, thank you ever so much. You can, of course, catch this podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, iTunes, yeah. So you can listen to us back. We've got a podcast. Good evening, Mr. Moles. How are you? I hope you are well. We have got Cruncher in the green room. He has joined us now, following some technical issues. I'm just going to resend Matt the link. Matt, where are you? Have other podcasts chased you away? I do not know, but we hope you are well anyway. Palace are still after Downs. Yes, we will get straight into that. Cruncher, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Much better. There we go. The connection's stronger.
Steve, I'm not. I wasn't late. He's put it on late. I wasn't late.
Well, technically, I started without you, I suppose. But I didn't want to let the fans down. You see, I didn't want to not start at 8:30.
It's good we've got an Arsenal fan. He's watching.
Elliot, the gamer. Hi, Martin. Oh, brilliant! I love it. I love his thumbnail. Is he a Star Wars fan by any chance?
My dad is late. Elliot, how rude.
Anyway, Matt is now also in the green room. Brilliant stuff. We've all started well. Faulty Towers, no, we've started brilliantly. And so I'm pleased you're all here to join us. Tonight's show is the midfield review. It won't take very long because, quite frankly, they were all pony. But we'll try and be a little bit more in depth than that. I'm going to go ahead and welcome in the man that he taught The Rock everything he knows when it comes to smack talking. He is the straight walking, limousine, jet flying Matt Phillips.
Hi, Roland.
How we doing, Mr. Phillips? How we doing?
Good. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good.
Brilliant stuff.
All good.
So, what a weekend we all had, gentlemen. Have we all calmed down? Oh, we just got town gear. That's just brilliant.
I was outside. You told me to come in. It's chilly out there.
He's wearing town gear. That's brilliant. I mean, I thought you were going to take it off and reveal a normal, normal polo shirt. Not rich. No, it's all branded.
He's merched up. Always in the merch. He's keeping Planet Blue going. That's what he's doing.
So let's have a bit of a professional rundown quickly of tonight's proceedings. We have Palace after Downs. We will touch on that one following a fantastic article on the hdrnetwork.com. Not sure if you've read it yet, but it was a fantastic read. If not, check it out. Then we've got the midfield review. Matt is ordering his Shiraz. And
yeah.
I've got the Adnams on tap. And we're all here. So what's new in the world? Matt, you want to go first? What's new with you?
What's new with me? Well, I mean, I suppose I've just been letting the dust settle on what happened on Friday with everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. How have you been feeling about it, Rich?
Well, you keep trying to put it to bed, and then little bits come up there on those of the days. Having a pop at me, bed sheet man, and you think, come on, grow up. 12 years ago. He doesn't even know that guy. I don't know who he was. I've spoken to Jim about it.
Yeah.
I sent you the message today.
We saw the conversation today. 100% we saw it. It's good. And Jim was cool with everything.
Yeah, and Jim's even when the lockdown, I had a word with Jim and he rang my mum and dad up. So
yeah,
these people don't know that, do they? So look, like we say, if anyone's got a problem out there and they want to come on and air their views, come on here. Don't hide behind your little your keyboard. We're three normal guys, three big Ipswich Town fans, and we'll let you have your say.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, and to be fair, we offered people Friday the chance, but they were too busy with their keyboards to come on. But that's not to say they won't come on in the future. They can come on, air anything. But of course, bringing it back down to Ipswich, they can come on and say their town views. You know, such I've got a couple already in the chat here. One from Sid Driver we'll get to in a second. Fantastic point. That's exactly what we want this to be, a place where you can come to either be on video and say what you feel, or a place you can come and just write and say what you feel. That's the most important thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Josh Bolton. He gave us a little heads up on Twitter that he was going to be on tonight. I mean, from my own personal point of view, we had lots of good feedback off the pod, which we put together as a bit of a forum and support for people that might feel affected or might have issues or might have mental health issues. Just wanted wanted half an hour to be around like-minded people. And one of the Welsh tractor boys, Grant Jones, came back to me and said, with all this going on, I enjoyed the live pod. I've never known the Ipswich fan base to be so divided, which was a fantastic point. And I said to him that the reason we probably have been divided is because we've had nothing to no success to be united over, which was a very telling point. But that point was very kind of ironic to me, because if you look at when Ipswich have been launching their new kit, what's the hashtag? We are town, being united. The coronavirus video they put out, what was the hashtag there? Town together. Again, it's all about being united, isn't it? And I just feel like, we're the new kids on the block, right, with this podcast. As Rich said, we're just free fans. We're nothing special. We're just free fans, got together, clicked, got good chemistry, and hopefully people are enjoying what we're doing. But I feel like there's lots more established Ipswich Town platforms and outlets out there, be it audio, be it written. You know what I mean? But kind of like when I saw comments on Those Were Days, we ignored it. I was relieved I wasn't on there. We kept our powder dry. Come on, you've got a platform. Ipswich Town fans are the lifeblood of what we are doing. If we didn't have views on the podcast, there's no point in doing it, is there? So it's all very well people saying subscribe to our channel, donate to our channel to help it going. But you've got to give something in return that goes beyond content, in my opinion. And I think we did that on Friday. We're not looking for pats on the back. We provided that for them. But I feel like there's people that are a bit more established than us who have stepped in now. There's town fans getting bullied, getting harassed. The one story that resonated with me was the girl, Jade, who's been caring for her dad. And she's been telling that story on Twitter. So being around like-minded people like us, like Ipswich Town fans, and being able to chat about the club, it's given us something to look forward to. She was on that World Cup list. Absolutely staggering.
So I know Jade. I think she won a competition with a shirt earlier in the season.
She did. Dave said that. Rings a bell, yeah.
Then you see the stick she was getting for that, and it's like, come on, look, we are better than this.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's because there's no football going on.
People are bored.
People have got a lot of time on their hands. We need to get back to playing. Obviously, we'll discuss that because it looks as though a lot of teams still don't want to play. But we should, like you say, Matt, we are town. It was a fantastic video the club put together. I really enjoyed watching that. And we like you say, we're three guys. We've got an opinion. It doesn't mean our opinion is right, which when you get messages, they're still having a bit of a pop at us, but we did get a lot of good feedback. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth, haven't you, really?
Yeah,
absolutely. And I would just like to quickly say to our friends at TWTD that there is a thread on there. Should anyone who's ever enjoyed TWTD and value what Phil and the guys do there, to go and donate. Obviously, football has been impacted by coronavirus, but equally so have outlets, podcast, forums, and obviously Phil and the guys there do a brilliant job. And they've been impacted as well. So if you've got a spare 50p down the back of the sofa, there is a link on there. That's the most important thread I want to highlight from that forum.
Yeah, I've known Phil for many years, and it's a brilliant website, TWTD. I love it, and go and donate to it. But I think the message to come out of it is let's all stick together. Let's not be bullying, harassing our own fan base, and live those hashtags. They go beyond the hashtag. We are town together. Live it.
Absolutely. So let's bring it back to town, back to this week. That's been laid to bed well and truly. First and foremost, we have to raise our glasses, gentlemen. What are we drinking this evening?
Birra Moretti, Italian vibes.
I like it. And he's got a Budweiser. Well, yes, I like it.
I had a coffee in my cup, look, come on here.
It'll be buzzing in a minute, Matt. Jeez. And I've got the Adnams still going for the cheap, shameless local plug. If they want to sponsor us, they know where we are. So let's bring it down to town news. We've had some big stuff recently. Flynn Downs to Crystal Palace. I wrote about it on the website this morning, trying to put a bit of a comparison, bit of statistics to it, because obviously the guys at Arch and the paper, they gave us a list, but the list was vast from various years. So I tried to pick out a player that was closer to Flynn Downs' age, ability, appearances, etc. Palace for 4 million. First and foremost, where do we sit on that, gentlemen? Palace, £4 million. Potentially rumoured, reported.
I don't know. It seems like a good deal to me. He's a third tier player at the end of the day. £4 million. I think we floated that figure ourselves in past pods, haven't we? We'd be looking around about 3-4. Probably with add-ons, would he go to England under 21s or an England appearance at some point? He might go up. I feel that's a good price, to be honest with you.
I see you like it, and you said that he could be better than John Joe Shelby, didn't you, Martin?
Oh, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
Now, that's a big call, because you've got a player there who's how many Premier League? He's played for England.
Yeah, but that's like sweets these days. Darius Vassell played for England.
What is Flynn Downs? Basically, at the minute, is he a holding midfielder?
He's a box-to-box midfielder. He needs to add goals to his game. That's without a doubt.
Box midfielder, he needs to score more than 2 goals, which he did last season. And the goal he scored against Shrewsbury, it's not lemonade, Steve. you get used to his comments because he's just a wally. The goal he scored against Shrewsbury, getting in the box, diving header, is what we want to see more of. That's what he should be about. And I think 4 million. I don't think you're going to get a lot more. I really don't. He's a League One player. He's played a season in the Championship in a team that got relegated. He had a decent season last season. But at the end of the day, was he that outstanding? We came 11th. And I know it's not all about one man. But I think if you get 4 million, obviously there's going to be add-ons there. It'll probably be up to maybe 6 in the end. But the worrying thing is, where does that money go? We know it will disappear. And we have to produce another Flynn Downs. But I agree with the bit that you said, Martin, where they've begged fans, to put the money in the academy and stuff like that. And then within a week or so, it's a bit of I think we all knew it was coming, didn't we?
It's a kick in the teeth, though, isn't it?
When Wolfenden signed that new contract, and then you get Lee O'Neill saying Flynn doesn't need to, he's got another 2 years, you think the writing's on the wall there, because we know he's going to get sold. They're not really going to keep everybody. Look, in an ideal world, we'd love to see him in an Ipswich shirt for the new season, but I think we just have to be realistic. It's going to be, the longer we're in this league, we're going to have to sell the crown jewels, even if we made it to the championship.
And I think you're right, Rich. And I think if you look at his stats, I do think he's overhyped a little bit from a fan base that really likes him. If you look at his stats, say you're Crystal Palace, right? Scouting team, 29 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist. It's not brilliant, is it? It's not great. So I do feel like he's overhyped a little bit. So I think they're buying potential. Palace are looking to buy potential. I saw someone say somewhere that Palace were looking like City did, looking to buy up some young English kids to bring into that squad.
Yeah,
so I think they're buying potential. He certainly gives you grit. 10 yellows.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's what he is. He's a tenacious box-to-box midfield player. And anyone who wants to read the article, it's at www.thehgrnetwork.com. It's also on Twitter and Facebook. And I left it up for viewers to decide really on what they felt the fee was. But from a personal point of view, I do happen to agree with Neil. I do personally feel it is rather pathetic. And I'm going to bring Sid Driver's comment into play here, because this is the one for me, and Sid is all about Bellingham going to Dortmund for 30+ million. 17 hasn't really done anything of note within any division. Now, I'm not saying Flynn Downs going to be anywhere near Bellingham, because Bellingham is a wonderful player and will be at the top of his game.
Did you see the video that Dortmund had?
Yes, hey Jude. I liked it. It was fine. It was fine. But Dortmund are buying potential, right? One bad injury and that's out of the window, right? And I wouldn't wish that on any player, but one bad injury is out of the window. Palace, the question for Flynn Downs is, can he be better than Miles Jednick? Because that's the top midfield player that Downs is going to be replicating at Palace. That's the one they had under Jednick. And I firmly believe he can be. And in 2 years' time, will he be worth 4 million? No, he'll be worth double that, if not triple that, if not more than that.
You don't know
4
what
million,
happens,
silly.
At the minute, so Roy's there at the minute, so obviously he's got his scouts out looking. But you never know. In 6 months' time, Palace have a dodgy start. They get a new manager in. That new manager comes in. He might not fancy Flynn Downs. You've seen these players get sold before, and then you look at Connor Wickham, for instance. I know he's had injuries during his career, but after he's left, I know we got, what did we get, 11 million for him? What has he really done? He was really highly rated, wasn't he, at AS? Probably
he left too soon, really. He left too early.
Yeah. But obviously that money come along and we thought, yeah, that's a good price to take now. But he's not achieved anything. So
no, he's dropped off the edge. Sad. Good player.
Yeah, and Mark is right. 4 million would be the third highest after Delph and Ali. And I was keen to stress that I wasn't trying to compare Downs with either player, because they are wonderful players. Yeah. For me, it's all about those add-ons. Those add-ons have got to be real, tangible add-ons, right? So I'm talking 38 Premier League appearances, 3 million quid, because that's a season. So if you played a season, that's great. I'm not talking if Palace qualify for Europe. I mean, that's silly at the current time. I'm not talking if Downs plays for England. That's equally at the moment, silly. Surely you want realistic add-ons, appearances, not goals, because you're not going to get goals. Right?
I think people should
put on there, look, when he says, we've only got ourselves to blame. If we'd have got promotion, he'd have stayed for another season in the Championship.
Yeah.
It'd have been worth more than 4 million. You'd have
probably double. It'd probably been double, yeah?
Yeah, definitely.
Probably would have been double. I think I'm going to view this transfer like we had with Dyer when he went to Newcastle for what was 6 mil back then. And then Burley reinvested that money into a team that won promotion, didn't they? So I think we should probably hope Evans. I just hope he follows that template, that he'll put it back into the squad.
I don't think he will, because you look at the money for Mings, Cresswell. You could go for all these players that we've sold. Yeah. Tyrone Mings is a great
fees.
We signed him for 10 grand from Chippenham.
Yeah. And some tracksuits.
So we've made 8 million on that. How much money got reinvested back in the team when we sold him? 0. I think with Evans, you don't always see the return in transfer fees, do you? I think you probably see it in wages.
Well, also loan fees, and that's a bugbear of mine, because how many loan fees has this club paid out for a left midfielder? It could have bought a quality left midfielder and sold him for twice the price in the loan fees we've wasted.
I'd imagine Selena was $1 million loan fee when he come in. Where was he from? City?
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if it was late, 750, 800 to $1 million. But it was.
But if you think about the loan fee, you're not solving an issue. You're just papering over the crack, which you have to argue maybe is a famous thing of this regime. I don't know. But yes, Mark is right. Promotion did cost pounds, but then equally it's a lack of foresight. Like you see clubs now, they might not be, trailblazers, but you see clubs making signings, and our official account is tweeting out a picture of a sandpit. I mean, what's going on? What's going on?
It's been really slow on the playing side of things, isn't it? Because they had this narrative of Lambert going, you don't want to come back too early. I'm not sure when he can train. It's almost like he was putting off the inevitable, having to go back to work a little bit. So it feels like we're behind the curve a little bit there. But they're supposed to come back next week, isn't it? Is it next week?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be, but it's going to be very, very different for the lads. Very different for the lads.
Yeah.
So we weirdly, if I had a bit of foresight, if Luke is in the chat, Luke, if you want to come on and discuss any possible transfer targets that Town could target, let me know.
Training, and it's going to be different. Yet grassroots football has been given the go-ahead full contact.
Yeah.
Come back to that. So
in September.
Yeah. So what? I mean, call me naive, right? But today's big news article, or one of today's big news articles, was the testing for the coronavirus. Okay, and the costs, and clubs are up in arms. Does Jenny at Tesco's or Mike at Esso, are they getting regular testing from their employer, or are they just being sent out onto the front?
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Why are footballers needing to have regular testing?
Yeah.
100% agree with you.
Because of the I only presume because it's the constant contact. If you work in a shop, you've got the screen, you're keeping the 1-2 meters away from people. I can only presume it's from the contact of a tackle or whatever, or in the box or corner.
You go and do your shopping, Matt, in Tesco's, and the people who are filling the shelves and that, are they staying? I went in there the other week doing my mum and dad's shopping. There was about 3 of them stood there, all having a little chat.
Yeah,
they were in a group. They weren't 2 meters apart. Now, come on, I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that. No.
This is what I mean. Are we cotton walling them a bit too much? Like, coronavirus is a terrible thing. It's a pandemic, but Mike at Sainsbury's isn't getting tested.
No, as far as we know. But yeah, I agree. I can see why the smaller clubs in League One, the clubs that are kind of punching above their level, someone like Accrington Stanley, for example, or Rochdale, someone of that nature. I can see why they would balk at the idea of starting the season with no gate money in there, because that's obviously what they rely on.
Yeah.
So I can see it. I do get it. We're coming from the top end, aren't we? We're out of the Championship. We're in a league we probably shouldn't be in. With more of a bigger fish.
Tin pot league with tin pot teams.
Yeah. And we're King Tin Pot.
yeah. Down there in 11th. Yeah.
I tell you what, Blue Monday, you can cut that up and replay that for me on Twitter if you like. I'm King Tin Pot. There we go. So moving on to midfielders, shall we? Flynn Downs obviously is a midfielder, but we're here to do a midfielder review, and we're already 20 minutes in. We could go us three. Yeah. So you've got your traffic light system. For those listening on audio devices, you will of course hear what they're holding. For those watching, you will of course see them. As you can see, we are also a Blue Peter podcast in our spare time.
Yeah, I've had to reprint stick mine together.
Well, sorry.
Keep it clean.
That's what I was thinking. Right. So midfielders.
Family show.
It is a family show. Father Richard's kids are in here. Got to keep it clean.
They're watching. I think they're watching. They said they're going to watch.
Shall we start with right or left wingers?
Have we got any left wingers? Because
that's me a quick conversation, isn't it?
Smash goal in that team.
Okay, let's start with Jack Lancaster. I'm not going to ask you should he stay or not, because that's a straightforward question.
Yes.
What is a reasonable expectation for Jack Lancaster next season?
Keep him fit.
Yeah.
His age? That's a reasonable expectation.
I mean, he's had the most bizarre. I was thinking about this earlier. He had the most bizarrest of injuries, a stress fracture to his back. How many other footballers have you heard with that? None.
Not many. Is that a weight in the gym room issue where he's overbearing it? And then sport contact?
It's a bizarre injury, and he's had it twice. Am I right in saying that? He's had it twice?
Yeah.
I think it's a really bizarre injury.
Yeah, we shared the same surgeon, so I'm not going to comment on it. I've still got a walking stick.
I mean, the sooner we can get him back, in the first team, the better. But I just find the whole story around him a mystery.
I think it's last 4 months, Matt. He's fully fit.
He's fully fit now, is he?
Yeah.
Happy days.
His dad posts quite often on Twitter, and he's been training for the last 4 months. So,
brilliant!
Look,
Brilliant.
If he's fit, he's in my first 11 on that first.
The last time I can remember seeing him play was at New Year's Day when we lost to Millwall. He scored in that game, didn't he? Curled one in from the right wing.
Yeah.
But what's
the day relegation was confirmed for me, that loss.
Give me a reasonable target for him, though. What can I expect? What can the guys in the chat expect? What can the guys listening at home on the commute? What can they really expect from Jack Lancaster next year? What's a reasonable expectation?
What, in terms of appearances?
No, in terms of what a season stat would look like. Because obviously right now I've got some stats here for midfielders players we'll get into. But next season, what can I reasonably look stat-wise, goal-wise?
I think he'd be pushing 5 or 6 goals. Definitely. From what
unless he does an Emery Hughes, it just takes ages to find his mojo.
Yeah, but it depends where he's going to play. Is he going to play in a free? Front three?
Yeah.
He could play in wide areas.
That's hard. I think it's a hard question to answer that one. I don't know. Just getting back playing games consistently is probably a stat I'd like quite like to see and chip in with a few goals, you know.
Will he be hurt by a third striker arriving? Because we have heard there was plans for Jackson to play a left wing type of role. So will a third member joining the crew, will that hurt his chances of progressing? Will it be another youngster we're saying, why is he not being given a chance?
Maybe. Who knows what formation Lambert's going to play? The rumour is he's going to do one up front, which is what he was supposed to do last season, wasn't it? Until Jackson hit a bit of a purple patch. So I don't know. I mean, would you say he's a right-sided midfielder?
I'd say he plays on the right with the left foot.
Yeah,
he can play left.
The goal he scored against Millwall, he cut in from the right and then curled it, didn't he?
Beautiful goal, that. Fantastic.
He can play either side, can't he? He's left-footed, so he can play either side. It depends on what you want from your winger. Two wingers we have let go from the left side is, first of all, is Danny Rowe. Would you have him back? One goal, Danny Rowe.
I've not seen enough of him, to be honest, but I wasn't massively impressed. I think maybe he's League Two's his level. He did well at Lincoln, didn't he? Maybe League Two was his level. I don't know.
He done well at Macclesfield. He was. There was a lot of talk about him. He played okay last season, then he got injured, didn't he? And then he sort of
he kind of just disappeared off the radar. One of people everyone forgot about.
He's another player. If you've got a wide player, you've got to be getting more than one goal, haven't you? You've got to be looking for 6 to 8 goals.
Yeah, he's on the red. He's got the red traffic light from us, isn't he, Rich? I think.
Definitely a red for me.
I think Neil's spot on there. Fed up waiting for Rowe.
Yeah, good shout, Neil. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. I completely agree with both of you there. Another great one. Danny Rowe, all the gear.
Yeah.
I think if you brought Danny Rowe back, you'd be potentially hurting Lancaster, Dobra, those type of chances for those young players, because he's not offering a great deal as a senior player. So,
and the Cowleys played him as a number 10 for Lincoln. He played just behind the striker.
I can see that.
He didn't play on the flanks.
Well, maybe,
I can see that.
Maybe when Danny Cowley's manager of Ipswich, Matt, he'll get him back.
Luke Garbett.
We'll save that chat for later.
5 goals, Luke Garbett. Would you have him back?
Oh, well, I mean, we kind of debated this last week, didn't we? As a defender, I said no, but
midfielder, yes.
I'm going to say maybe. Okay. I like his set piece delivery, because we've been useless at set pieces since Waghorn died. So I like that.
He wasn't Rob's favourite player. He questioned some of his toughness.
Injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you said last week, didn't you, when he walked when he was injured, but walked quite happily around the edge of the pitch.
Well, if Luke's watching, Rob said, no, I didn't question him. So Garbett, yes, and a maybe from Matt.
And maybe.
And not. Mid-20s.
He needs to nail down. He's probably 28. A proper spot at a team, and he doesn't need to be floating around. Obviously, he's out of contract. Everton let him go. He needs to find a proper home.
He might. You're right, Rich, and he might read. Now the fact that he's now a free agent, he might just nail down a little bit more, because he had the comfort of that huge contract at Everton, didn't he? So he could go on loan knowing he had the safety net going back to Goodison. Now he doesn't have that anymore.
Here's a question for you. Okay. Luke Garbett this time last year is facing one more year on his contract. How much would he have cost Ipswich Town to buy? Now, I know before someone says his wages were astronomical and he wouldn't take a pay cut. Okay, fine. So you come to some sort of arrangement with Everton, which sees them paying what they would have paid probably in a contribution to a wage in a loan deal. So I've no doubt we didn't pay 100%. I'm sure we paid something like 60-40 or 40-60 or whatever.
Yeah.
How much realistically in a transfer fee would he have cost this time last year?
$500,000.
I'd say more than that, coming out of a Premier League team.
Yeah, but he's only
we'd have been priced to buy him. We'd have been priced out, I think.
Really? I don't know. I could think more with Rich.
Yeah, I would have said a couple of mil. I'd have said a couple of mil personally, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah,
500, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think if you're looking at it, if you said $1 million, I don't think you'd be looked at silly. I think you'd be okay, yeah. But would that have been a good deal, right? Now, if you were buying him, now if he was a left winger, you could buy. He's not a free agent. You could buy. How much would you be paying now for Luke Garbett following the year he's had?
Oh, I'd agree with what you're saying there. Probably $500,000.
So
After the year he's had.
I remember when we saw Jamie Clapham. Do you remember he come from Spurs?
Yeah, good play. Great play.
I'd put him in the same bracket as Garber. I think. Did we get Clapham on a free?
I think so.
Maybe
nominal.
Don't question my 2099 logic. Someone's already done that today, and yeah. I'll have a look. But
he's the type of player. I'd liken him to Jamie Clapham.
Yeah, with a better delivery, maybe.
But my point was, again, if you just invested a little bit earlier, you would have had a left winger under contract for maybe one more year that would now be earning a wage that you can comfortably afford. He would have got on the open market, and you may be sitting here thinking, well, can we keep hold of him for 2 million, 3 million? But at least you would have had one more problem solved. And again, another left winger. It's a revolving door. It's like England in the early 2000s.
It's like a sticking plaster. We keep putting a plaster over that wound, and then look, it's started to bleed again, and we'll put another plaster on it. And in the end, you've got to let that heal. And so I totally agree with you. You need to have a bit of forward thinking. Get hold of someone. You think he's a decent player. He can do a job. He could do a job if he went in the Championship. Why are we looking at just one season? Did we think? Were we maybe getting ahead of ourselves?
You can't live like that, can you? You can't live like that.
Ourselves thinking we could get him on a free at the end of the season. Is that what they thought that he was a great buy, Nick
Muller, great buy. Clapham was, yeah.
We signed Clapham for 300 grand according to Wikipedia.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that rings bells. Actually, it felt like they could have done a deal maybe in January. I suppose Ipswich was then waiting to see what division they were going to be in, to see once he became a free agent.
Well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Knowing that he's probably going to lower end Championship team. I thought he's probably going to end up, isn't he? Really. I've had this discussion with a few people working in sports media, and they laughed when I said he might be a Championship player. They said he's probably well suited to Ipswich, top end of League. Well, top end of League One, mid-table of League One to top end. Well,
2 goals. We're going to move it on, gentlemen. Time's ticking. We can't have a 4-hour podcast. We're not those down the road. 4 goals, Edwards. Would you? Red.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Matt's gone red, and Richard's gone green. Oh, discuss that one.
He annoys me. I feel like he could give more to the team personally. But then again, in his defence, we said this last week. I feel like he's not playing in the right positions. He was bought as a left-sided player, and he's been on the right the whole time. He gets booked far too often. Was he the most booked player in League One?
He's a yellow card.
It's a walking yellow card.
He's a walking yellow card.
When he played at fullback, we discussed this last week. When he started, he was a bit of a fish out of water. I thought he'd done quite a good job. The last game we played against Coventry, I thought he was our man of the match. Especially over your side, second half, he was up and down that line. And I'm thinking, there is a player in there. I agree, he needs to do more. But then we could say that about 99% of the squad, couldn't we? They all need to do more, and they all need to lift their game. But I don't think we're blessed with that many wide players. So I'll definitely be keeping him. I
would try and get James Henry from Oxford over him. I think he's a good player, Henry. He's a right-sided player, isn't he? Right-sided midfielder. About 12. I think he had about 12. Well, he could play right across, I believe. He had about 12 assists, I think, for Oxford this season. He's Edwards, almost mirror image of Downs. 27 appearances, 2 goals, 1 assist, 10 yellows. It's not cutting it. It's not good enough. Getting gone.
Yeah. Fair enough. I'm just trying to look up how much 300,000 would be in 1999. I will have that information for you on Twitter after the show because it's going to take me a while to work it out with the graph. So I do agree with Josh here. Edwards has never quite lived up to
another one
to the hype. So central players. Let's start with. We'll leave the attacking midfielders out for the time being, if you can call them that after last year. But now this is a midfield that was terrible. Okay, I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. Only 5 assists out of the whole of midfield last season.
I feel like we could have got more assists if us three were in the middle.
So
Sure.
I'm going to leave my favourite player till last. Just what is it? So we'll start with Andre Dozell. I'm not going to ask you about a young player. Should he stay or should he go? But should he be around the team next year, or should he go out on loan next year?
I'm going amber here.
Okay.
I'm going green.
Right. Tell me about what you feel about Andre Dozell next season, guys.
Go on, Rich. You go first on this one.
No longer a young player.
Nope.
I personally, he would be in my team every week. I think he's one of the only midfielders we've got who can actually put a through ball.
Yeah.
Did I hear that right? He'd be in the team every week.
Yeah, he would.
I do agree with what Rich says there about the through ball.
So, yeah, I agree with that. I just wasn't sure what I was hearing for the speak. What?
He needs trust, because too often last season, and it wasn't just him, he'd play a couple of games and then he wouldn't even be on the bench. He'd be in the stands.
Yeah, disappeared.
You need a bit of faith from the manager to say, look, Andre, I'm going to play you for the next 10 games.
Every week?
He knows in the back of his mind then, he's got that. He's going to be in the team. And I think, listen, we've seen Liverpool and we've had teams like Liverpool linked with him. So, and a lot of fans will say he's only living on his dad's name. I think no, I don't agree with that. Saying that his dad was a class player, and if he was half a player, his dad was. But he's a different player for me. People say he's lazy. I don't think he's lazy. I just think that's how he runs.
His body language is what we call language, which is what everyone said about Jason Dozell.
Exactly. But no, get him in the team. Let's build the team around him. Let's believe in him, because sooner or later, if you're going to say, oh no, he's in and out, he has another season like last season, where does he actually go? Because he'll be thinking, look, Norwich have been after him. We see
Norwich.
Would we want to see him go up the road? I wouldn't. Definitely not. You know,
a Dozell in yellow and green.
Not a chance. He's talented, and he needs a bit of faith shown in him. I think
every week, faith though, Matt. Every week, Matt.
I've said amber there, right? Because I'm in two minds about him. So he did 10 appearances last year, 2 yellows, no assists, no goals. And as Rich said, Lambert used him really sparingly, didn't he?
Scored in the FA Cup.
Oh, was it? Goal in the FA Cup.
We don't count cups. We're town fans. Well,
yeah,
we're modern town fans.
Nothing in the league for us. Nothing in the league. Part of me feels like we should cash him in. I feel like the level we're at, he's a bit of a luxury player.
What do you get for him? If you're saying $500,000 for Garbett, Matt, what are you getting for Dozell? A couple of penny chews?
Yeah, true. I mean, that's the argument, right? What's going to be? You're not going to get much of a fee for him, I suppose.
They said 5 million when Norwich are after him.
Oh.
It's the potential factor, isn't it? It's the potential.
You don't
factor.
Want to be giving him away. You don't, because you know what'll happen. This will be Ipswich all over.
Yeah.
You'll sell him. You'll see him go to a team who play every week, and he'll be one of the best players.
Where do you play him anyway? What's his position? Because I remember when McCarthy gave him his debut and the game where he got injured and was out for the season, he was playing a very advanced role. He scored that header on his debut, didn't he? He scored the goal against Leeds on the last day from a kind of right-sided midfield position. I thought always thought of him as being, when I saw him play for England under 19s, he kind of played a little bit more in that reserved mid, just in front of the back four, and sort of Magilton pinging passes around. Although
that's where he should play, yeah.
Not with the same energy that Magilton's got.
Was it the Birmingham game at Mix last season when he done his knee? That first
game,
and he was running the game.
Yeah,
you see there,
he was good.
There's a player in there. So
I totally agree with Josh there, though. He needs a loan for me because it might do the world of good.
Hurst didn't know what to do with him. Do you remember he goes, he might go out on loan, he might stay. That went on for ages.
Yeah, it
Where's he going to loan to? He's not going to go to League Two, is he?
Well, no, he's not. But as Neil says here, he is a deep line playmaker. I think if you keep Downs, then you could pair him with Downs because that would be a good midfield. Downs does the hard work, does the grunt work, and Dozell does the finesse and knocks it and pings it about the park. I'm not sure about every week, but moving on. Cole Skuse, new contract. He's staying, but I mean, would you have given him a new contract?
It's a red for me.
It's a red from Rich.
It's a green for me. I'm keeping Skuse about. as you know, I've been quite critical of Skews. But I like the fact that we still need that senior pro in there somewhere, someone who's been around the game a little bit, just to bring some of these youngsters through. Bring Brett McGavin through. And also, he gives you a bit of a utility factor. Look how good he was against Sheffield United when he played in defence. We know he can play right back if needed. So I'd keep him around just for that, the Mickey Stockwell factor. The fact he can play multiple positions and be a mentor for these younger kids coming through. But at the same time, I kind of agree with Rich as well.
he's not fit to lace Mickey Stockwell's boots.
Legend. Chelmsford legend. Shout out Chelmsford.
But personally, I wouldn't have kept him. I think Martin probably wouldn't have kept him either.
You've got to have some senior pros around the place. We can't just have kids.
I agree with what Martin said a few weeks ago. We should have took our chances, see what was available in the market, you know. Don't jump straight in and say, oh, here you go, Cole. You're a good lad. You're a good club servant. We'll keep you. No, we should be looking, see who's about, see if we can get someone better than Cole Scouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I certainly think you let. I certainly think you let him test the market. I keep hearing about this brave new world we're living in. So let your senior players go off, test the market, but don't. But tell them, look, go off and get your offer and come back to us with the offer. And if we can match it or we want to match it, then we will. If you want to stay here, brilliant. If you don't and we can't or whatever, then we love you, but goodbye. But to sign him up before you know where the market baseline has set was silly. Now, I've been doing some statistical research for various pieces, and I have to be honest, pre-research, Skews and me, we didn't get on. However, Cole Skews statistically is a very, very good player and was statistically our better midfielder last season. He covers... Well, no, it's not. It's not. It's really not. It's a woeful midfield, but he covers work. His work rate is good. His ball retention is quite good.
One assist, though, goes against him, doesn't it?
Ball retention, me and you could retain the ball and pass it back to your centre half.
Yeah.
That's not what
Funnily enough, his short-range passing was the highest statistic that padded it out a little bit. Yeah.
They're like, aren't
they? Yeah.
Long range, it was woeful, but
only two yellows. Only 2 yellows suggest he's really good at tackling or wasn't putting the foot in.
He sums us up. He sums Town up. Too nice. Your holding midfield player would rather shake your hand than nobble your knees. What's all that about? Get in, son.
And no goals. But the goals he has scored for Town have been absolute
screamers.
Thunders.
Well, on this day in 2001, we were linked with Claude Makaleli, right?
Yeah.
You know, now he is your proverbial holding midfield player. Offers nothing else. But you look at his stats. I bet he's got fantastic passing stats. But equally, you would say it's an aggressive player, somebody who does the holding job. Cole, if you looked at his stats and you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't necessarily say he's a Joey Barton type aggressor.
No,
he's not a Paul Lintz enforcer. So what? I mean, you know, I don't want to call another one, but what is he?
He's nice. Like you just said, he's nice. Like the whole club, we're nice, aren't we?
He was a safe pair of hands for McCarthy, is what he was, really, wasn't it?
Fans should be nice. Yeah. Players should be absolute. Tenacious athletes. So, go on.
If the other midfielders done their job, he'd probably fit in quite well, wouldn't he?
He may well do. Well, you mean like Johnny Douglas? If Johnny Douglas had turned up and been the attacking midfield player we all thought he was going to be. I tell you, Cole Skews looked great that year because Johnny Douglas was just. Anyway, Emir Hughes, two assists. Emir Hughes topped the assists chart. Well, nearly.
Red.
Yeah,
he gets on my nerves. Him always injured. Always injured, and he's just taken ages to. I feel like it's just taken ages to get back to some acceptable level of form for me.
I think he's had a bad injury, but I do agree with them, Matt. I expected. Look, you're going to come back a little bit tentative, maybe, but how many appearances did he make last season? 20 odd. He must have played 20 odd games.
18. I think it was 18 from memory.
Was there any games there where he showed his class?
No. You're almost right, Martin. 17.
I knew
2
it was around that
assists.
sort of- yeah.
4 yellows. He even looked useless against Colchester in the leasing.
Steady on. We don't use the word useless in this podcast.
He was underachieving in the leasing.com trophy.
Yeah, I went to Peterborough and he played in that, and he had a stinker that night as well.
He was just like,
He did.
I don't know. Okay. He's someone who's been on the sidelines for too long, I just think.
Teddy Bishop.
Talking of being on the sidelines for too long. Red.
Hallelujah. Some people that agree with me finally.
Red.
I was worried I might have to fight the corner on this one, but I totally agree.
Yeah.
Your best ability is availability.
Yeah.
Full stop.
At what point is he going to be injured and back in the physio room this season?
Well, I did say to you, Matt, last week he was rumoured that Teddy Bishop was going to model a new kit, but he hurt his neck.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not saying he's not talented, because we've seen in flashes, haven't we? We've seen in flashes, but
Has he ever scored one? Am I right in thinking he's only ever scored one goal at Bournemouth? Is that right?
Bournemouth. That was in his first season.
He scored at Blackpool as well, didn't he?
Maybe. No, all right, 2 goals then. Yeah, I just feel like he probably needs to start somewhere else for the sake of his own career. I just feel like he'll be injured again, and he'll be, as you always say, rinse and repeat. It'll be the same.
Rinse and repeat. And I do think Neil is right there with Hughes, but I think that's the same thing with Bishop. Bishop, on his day, can be an incredible midfield player with unlimited, I truly believe this, unlimited potential. But Lionel Messi wouldn't be Lionel Messi if he had the injury record of Teddy Bishop. You know, Barcelona would have cut their losses a way long time ago and said, you might be good, but you're not available. You know, look at McGoldrick, for example, right? We're the only banter club I know that would allow a player to be injured because of travelling and not existing moves. But I get you can't force a player, but then you would have cashed in on him. Now look at him. Now he's having probably a fitness regime tailored for him, diet tailored for him, less travel, if no travel. And you're seeing the benefits of it. We're not getting anything from Bish.
You read his comments, though, Martin, when McGoldrick was ours. He was all right floating around in him. There was no pressure there. And I still, that still, to me, it exists now at the club. It's too Cole Scouse giving him a contract. Bishop, you're keeping him for another year. Why do we keep keeping these players? You know, what are we hoping that one day they're suddenly going to flick that switch? No.
Yeah.
Just got to say, thanks very much, and off you pop.
He's only just turned 24, Bishop. He just turned the other day. He just turned 24. He's been around for ages. We've barely seen him.
Played since he started in 2014-15.
Well, he did 9 appearances last season.
Yeah. You see, I think Bishop is going to be one of these casualties of this potential over 21 age limit coming in. And I've written about this on the website, and it's going to go out in the next couple of days. If they're going to limit squad sizes to 20 players over the age of 21, you're going to need your senior players to be really contributing as part of this salary cap. And if one of them is Teddy Bishop and the other one's Emir Hughes, you're getting 18 games, 25 games out of 2 players, it's no good. It's simply no good. And you will get these players cheaper because other teams will start looking at it like that as well. So, you know, there's flip side to it. You let him walk, let him test the market, but obviously he's under contract. But I would, it's a big year for Teddy. Probably one of the biggest years of his career.
I mean, let's hope for the sake of the town fans and the club and everything and our expectations, he does step up and has a good season. We're not wishing him a bad season. We just haven't seen it, have we?
Oh, God, no.
Let's hope he stays fit for the whole season and then see what he does.
Yeah, I want to see people in like, you know, like Sid, like Neil, like Josh next year in the comment section saying, this time last year, you said he was this. This time last year. I want to be eating words. I want this club to be the best club in the world, full stop. I don't want to be right on any player if I'm saying negative things about them. Yeah. But I say it from a place of I've watched you for years, Teddy. And, you know, I don't want to. Well, the problem is I haven't, though, have I? That's the problem. That's what I'm saying. The problem is I haven't watched you for years. I should have done, but I haven't. So anyway, moving quickly on with that one. Our friend of the show.
I knew you were going to him afterwards when you said about making people eat your words.
Our friend of the show, Mr. John Nolan. 2 goals last year. I nearly fell off my chair when I read that. John Nolan, 2 goals.
Goodbye, John. Goodbye.
Oh, Matt, you're my sort of person. You're invited to Christmas dinner.
Christmas dinner at the Lamberts, not Paul's. Why
What's
green?
going
Why
on?
green?
Why
Why green?
Why green?
Why green?
I'm actually talking to my boss today because he's a Coventry fan, and we're still having a chuckle about that. What was it? Was it a header?
I don't know. Someone phone him. I don't know what it was.
I still think there's a player in there, and I think he could score goals. I do.
I shudder at that comment.
I do. I think find a place for him in the team, stick to it, and let's see what he can do. But
how many assists do you think he got last season, Rich, off the top of your head?
Did he get 1?
0.
Oh, well, there you go. We only got. How many did we get? Whole midfield?
6
5.
or 7, something like that. Yeah.
We said this last week. I don't know where he plays. Where in midfield does that guy play? Because he was advanced for Shrewsbury, and I've not seen that at Durham Road.
Purple patch.
I have no idea where he plays.
Thing is, I'm quite concerned about what I know he called you Mick there. Sorry, Mick McCarthy said. Mick. What Rich's midfield is going to be like? Got Dozell and Nolan both starting in it.
Dozell's holding. Nolan's playing number 10 for me.
How many games are we going to win? I'm not going to go there.
I do think just to finish on a positive of Nolan, he was looking good at the end of the championship season until he got injured. He did seem to be finding his feet a little bit. But again, we said it last week. He looks shackled. He looks shackled in whatever position he's supposed to be in. He looks shackled to me.
The thing is, I saw somebody today in response to my article say, yeah, but the reason for Downs' statistical increase was we dropped down a level. Okay, yeah, fair point. You can't argue with that at that point. It's a very good point.
Yeah.
However, why is John Nolan then not giving the same sort of, and I haven't properly researched this.
Thank you, Josh Bolton. There you go. Nolan is a confident player. The rotation didn't help him last season.
Or did John Nolan make the rotation policy possible by coming in and giving 6 out of 10 when he came in? If he came in, and Alan Lee said this on the podcast last year, if players were coming in and giving 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 and causing headaches, you wouldn't get the rotation. It's because he's playing them and you're getting a bit of a wishy-washy performance. He's able to do it.
Good point from Alan, that. Yeah.
You know?
I just looked up his Shrewsbury stats. 55 appearances, 10 goals, 7 assists.
Yeah. Now look at his Lincoln stats. They're not going to be pretty, Matt.
75 appearances, 6 goals, 4 assists.
Goals.
He just is not doing enough in the midfield there for us, I don't think. No. Because we haven't got enough goals in the team to begin with. And he's not going to contribute them, is he?
We've not got many midfielders left, have we, if we've been in them all?
Well, it's our weakest area. It was our weakest area. But to be fair to John Nolan, I'll be fair, John Nolan, short passing last year statistically was one of the better, if not the best in the squad. So, you can pick out a short pass, but I'm not going to...
Short pass is a fake stat. That's a fake stat, I think, because...
I was giving him a lifeline, Matt, all right?
No, I'm not having it, because we just play out so slowly from the back. Short pass here, short pass there, back to the keeper. All counts.
The thing is, if you look at our stats, it probably goes short pass for midfielders and then long pass for defenders, which Chambers probably tops that aren't successful. That's the way it was. Okay, attacking midfielders. Alan Judge, 3 goals, 1 assist. I've got on my statistical sheet from last year.
I'm keeping Alan Judge.
I think Rich is really as well. If he's honest, brutally honest with himself.
Alan Judge should be one of the best midfielders in the division. He really
should be the best. He should be the best.
Who has been shifted out wide, and he doesn't want to play there because you can see every time he's out wide, he always comes inside. So you have to find the place in the team for him, don't you?
Yeah.
Or if you're not going to play him in his natural position, get rid of him.
Is that Alan Judge fan in the background now?
Even the dogs are saying you're talking twaddle, man.
John Nolan, they're giving Nolan a red.
I've always really liked Alan Judge. I'm thinking back to when he was at Notts County, and they kind of termed him the Irish Messi, didn't they? I liked him at Brentford. There's part of me, I want to keep him because I feel like he brings a lot to the team if played in the right position. What that position is, I'm still not 100% certain. I see him as a number 10 personally, being able to slip little balls through to Jackson or Lord, whoever that might be.
Yeah.
But there's also nagging doubt of me. So I would keep him for that level. And the fact he's an international player. So let's keep hold of those if we can. But there's also nagging doubt of me that we've got him too late in his career, the broken leg that Haim gave him. Maybe he just hasn't been the same since then, which is why Brentford got rid of him. If they thought he was still top notch, he'd still be there.
Yeah. Past Town is haunting future Town.
But then QPR wanted him, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, that was Wolverhampton, wasn't it? So they're the link back to Brentford there. So they obviously know each other quite well.
I like Alan Judge. He's busy, isn't he? When he's on the pitch, he's always
busy. He gives you some energy. He gives you he gives you the energy that Nolan doesn't give you.
He's still giving it 100%, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think sometimes I think he's trying too hard.
Yeah, I'd agree. I do think he's trying too hard. Yeah. He had 30 appearances, 3 goals, 4 assists, 3 yellows. So at least he was contributing there.
Yeah, you're including FA Cup games there, aren't you? And the EFL
games. Across the board.
Yeah, I'm doing purely least stats. That was mine is slightly different to yours. I think Alan Judge, I think Sid's right on the money there, and that's sadly where we are as a football club. Players that are signed on a permanent are either on the upward trajectory and they're only here for a year or two, or they're on the downward. Yeah. I would give Alan Judge a free roll. I would just say go and get on the ball and make things happen. Don't worry too much about, a bit like Aaron Moy did for Huddersfield in their promotion winning season. He came at Portman Road and he just sat on the halfway line and they found him. All they did was found him, and he then turned and made things happen. You almost want to say things that to Alan Judge. You get on the ball, find space, we'll find you. You make it happen, because he can make it happen, and he can put a delightful ball in that box. And Neil makes a great point there again. Judge is the needed experience that Skuse and Chambers are supposed to be. International player still, really high competitive streak, but I think Rich is right though. He does try to do it all a little bit too much. So let's try and keep it under an hour if we can. We've got 3 minutes, so a minute and a half each. I'm not going slightly over. Who are you most looking forward to seeing as a young player emerge next season? There's quite a little group coming through. Who are you really excited to see? I'll start with Matt.
Oh, Dobra, 100% Dobra. He reminds me of sort of he's got that kind of waspish quality that Judge brings to the team. I even like the fact he got sent off at Accrington. He's a young kid, not taking any rubbish off seasoned pros that have been around League One, League Two. He was going nose to nose with them. And I even we're calling Judge the Irish Messi. I was telling people who were asking me about him. I see he's like the Albanian Messi. He's got he's got that ability to get fans off their seats at Portman Road. And for God's sake, we need that. We've not had much to cheer about over the last few years. So you want those players that are going to get you off the seat. I remember, when I was a young lad, I used to love Dalian Atkinson, flair player. Would shoot from distance. Fantastic. Would get you off your seat. And I feel like Dobra can do that going forward. What his role is going to be, I don't know. Maybe that number 10 role, I don't know. But he's maybe on one of the flanks. Remains to be seen. I feel like he's going to be a really pivotal player for us.
Rich?
Hopefully.
No, I like Dobra. I think he benefited from the EFL trophy last year. He done really well. But El Mazzuni, I think for me, another good. We've got a lot of good young players. It's fitting them all in the team, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Lancaster, Dobra, El Mazzuni.
Is he fit, El Mazzuni? Is he fit?
Another one. I like him.
Yeah.
So, but it's wet. You don't win nothing with kids. That's what Alan Hansen said. But I think we have to show a bit of faith in our kids. I think. But then we go back to the manager. Is he the right guy to get the best out of them?
Let's touch on that. The Cowleys, yeah? Let's touch on that before we go.
Well, I want to say my say first. Whoa. Who am I looking forward to seeing?
All right, go on then.
Give me some chance. I'm not going to go for Dobra because you've said Dobra, although I'm excited by Dobra. I'll go. I'm a centre half at heart, so I'm going to go for a bit more of a defensive play. I'm going to go for Brett McGavin. I enjoyed what I saw first half against Fleetwood. I think he was unfairly brought off.
Yeah, great.
Sid's right. Lancaster's got a huge role to play next year, But I just want to see if Brett McGavin can start to make strides to being the replacement for Cole Skuse, because this time next year, I want to be looking at definitely waving goodbye to Cole as a player, not as a man or as a coach or anything. But so Brett McGavin for me is that ideal replacement. And if somebody can benefit from Downs going, it would have to be probably McGavin, you'd believe. But yes, okay, gentlemen, you can finish us off with your Cowley conversation. Limit it to 2 minutes because it's a ball ache to edit over an hour.
I mean, what are you thinking, then, Rich? Would you take the Cowleys at Town?
In a heartbeat. I've seen quite a lot of negative comments today on Twitter.
Yeah.
From Town
it's Twitter,
fans,
mate.
Even from Huddersfield fans, some of them were happy that he's gone. But I think wherever they've been successful, and it might not be the greatest football you've ever seen. At the minute, right, we are a League One team. Are you telling me the Cowleys come to Ipswich, they wouldn't have a plan? They would have a plan. You just got to look at Huddersfield. They've done what they said when they went there. He's made some decent signings. Toffolo, he took from Lincoln. He's a decent player. I was quite surprised that they got rid of both of them. I thought that was a bit of a look. Josh wants a 4-hour pod. There you go.
My wife don't.
Cowleys,
we can do that, Josh.
Cowleys for me would definitely get a green.
I think I saw the Cowleys are Essex based, so I saw them when they was at Concord.
Definite green then for Matt.
back in the day. I mean, don't forget they were PE teachers at Fitzwymark, I think, in Southend. Not even that long ago, probably up to about 2014, 2015. So their rise into professional football has been fantastic. It's a fair play to them. They've got that drive down there. I do think it would be like a little bit more of a return to the McCarthy style. I do think their model of how they put teams together would suit Evans, because they don't spend lots of money. I don't think they ever spent more than 100 grand at Lincoln. They bought in lots of loans. They bought a lot of free transfers in to build a team at the level we're at. So I do feel like they would probably fit Evans's model for the club at the moment. So I mean, I'd probably give them an amber, to be honest with you. But I mean, I don't know. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see. I do feel like it's maybe a step back towards more McCarthy style football.
Yeah, it sounds like we're selling our soul again, gents, for a bit of possible success or chance of success. I don't know. When you were telling me all about their positives, Rich, there's only one name I was hearing, and it wasn't Cowley's. It was definitely McCarthy's. That sounds like McCarthy. It might not play the nicest bit of football. It may not be this. It may not be that. And we're going to give it. Look, don't get us wrong. Twitter is probably going to light up with, they're bashing McCarthy again, or how could you possibly bash McCarthy after what's happened? McCarthy's not the reason why we're in League One. The reason why we're in League One is still here. It's the same guy that put a young manager in charge, then made him rip the squad up to bring in a couple of players that he wanted to fit his style. That's simple as that. Will Cowley be backed, or will he be told to work with a shoestring budget and a very small contact book?
He can do that, though. We know they can do that. We know they can do that. That's the thing.
Someone's got to get us out of this league.
Yeah. I feel like they could get us out of the league. They're tactically, they've got a really good reputation for being really kind of, we talk about data, don't we? We talk about scouting. They're really on it, those two. They're really on it, the Cowley brothers.
Nick Muller, John McGreal. No thanks.
He's going Southend, I think.
Well, I think we've got to get away from the... You'll see when an Ipswich player gets released like he was from Colchester, and everyone's on there. I'll get him in as manager. Look, he was a good player. Obviously, part of the team that got promoted. But does that mean he's going to be a success as manager?
No. That's why Terry Butcher's never been a manager for us.
I think Sid's a bit right there, but also Bart. Bart is also a huge reason why he weren't. Bart helped McCarthy in that year, especially at Huddersfield away. Talk about Cowleys and Huddersfield. Huddersfield away, the saves Bart made that year, and in that game was single-handedly the reason why he weren't in League One sooner.
But then, you said about Bart. Bart was one of the reasons why we got relegated, because he gave up in October.
Yeah.
We're patting him on the got player of the year 3 years on the trot. Let's not forget he was part of that team that got relegated, basically admitting that they give up.
Yeah. Well, it's probably another question mark of.
You're a big fan of Bart. Look, we all are. Big shout outs. My mate Nicky Green, big Millwall fan, and I did tell him when Bart went there, he was a top goalie, and He loves him.
Certainly is. Any shout outs from you this week, Matt? Any recommendations, any endorsements, any non-paid for plugs? Bring some cash in, Matt.
Who do you want to give a shout out to? I'll give another shout out to Josh Bolton. Said he's really enjoying the show earlier today, so that's fantastic. And my shout out is, keep it WEARETOWN, town together. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Leave that value, because I feel like we've got a good community. Stick it together.
And it's absolutely a non-paid plug, but I will give a shout out to Ross Weishart, who is a logistica. So if you want any logistics done for you, look up Ross on Twitter. He is obviously works for Barker and Hood. And that is not a paid for plug, in case somebody wants to tell me off YouTube. So it's not, honestly, it's not. He doesn't know I'm doing it. So there we go. Another one in the can. Thank you for joining me. Give us a date for next week, gentlemen. I want to try and get to a regular date if we possibly can. Is Thursday okay for you next week?
Monday night. What do we do Monday night?
I'm out and about next week, so it might have to be later in the week. But we'll have to have a chat about it.
Certainly will. Okay, but thank you for making your Monday a Blue Monday, and I will catch you all very soon.
See you later, guys.